So, since we are in this pandemic and Joe Biden can't do real, in person, high dollar fundraisers, he is holding a virtual one and holding it in conjunction with Hillary Clinton. Now, I got to show you how they've set this up. So, this came out through Politico. I believe they were the first one to leak this. But the Biden for President Victory Fund, Biden for President, and the Democratic National Committee cordially invite you to a virtual conversation with Hillary Rodham Clinton and DNC Chair Tom Perez. All the worst people. Now, check this out. Because how do I zoom in here? This is some of the... I don't think I can zoom in. This is some of the most ridiculous stuff. Here we go. So if you want, okay, again, this is virtual via Zoom. You're not going to any event. This is online. If you want to host $100,000 to be a virtual host on Zoom, if you want to be a champion, 50 grand. A supporter, $41,000. A friend, $15,600. A guest, $5,600, and limited availability, $2,800. How do you have limited availability for an online meeting? Like, they don't want to have too many peasants in, so $2,800. Oh, all you freaking poor people that can only give $2,800. Limited availability for you, but the rest of us wealthy individuals, as low as $5,000, or you can become a host, $100,000. I don't understand. Like, are they not aware that this stuff will obviously come out if it wasn't public already, and people will see this and clearly see a party here that is not representing them? When you have these fundraisers, it shows you who you represent. They represent the wealthy. Now, of course, yes, Republicans do as well. Both parties represent the wealthy and massive corporations. But the Democratic Party pretends to not. I mean, to be fair, both parties pretend not to. But the Democratic Party pretends to fight for working people. Here they are holding these massive fundraising events. And the thing here is, it's not like, the host gives $100,000 and now Joe Biden's going to put in, a provision into a certain policy to help that person. It doesn't necessarily work that way. How it works, though, is that this is the company you keep. So because these are the people that they know, the people they have face-to-face time with, the people they talk with on Zoom or in person, that is the perspective that these politicians take on. And it's human nature. If you surround yourself with people that can afford to give $100,000 to be a host on Zoom, that brings a certain worldview that most people simply do not have. And you relate to those people that are giving you all that money because that is the time you are spending. The time you are spending is mostly with wealthy people. So you take on their worldview. This is why getting money out of politics really is the most important issue in American politics. Because it cuts off the ability for the Democratic Party to simply be a party of the rich and of corporations. Once you remove that money from the equation, they are then forced to actually fight for the vote of the average person. But of course, getting to that point of getting money into politics is almost impossible. I mean, you need a constitutional amendment, which will take years. I know Cenk Uygur with Wolfpack and TYT, they're trying to get that through. But they've been on that for, I don't know, like 8 years now. It takes some time. So this is why I hate to go back to Bernie Sanders every time, but this is, if you change the leadership, then you change how the party acts. So if Bernie had won the nomination, this stuff wouldn't be going on. He wouldn't be raising, they strictly said, if Biden becomes the nominee, he is not raising money any differently than he is during the primary. And the only other candidate that was pretending to be that way was Elizabeth Warren. But even she said once she won the nomination, she would be doing these things too. So Bernie Sanders was really the only quick way out of the current makeup of the Democratic Party in terms of relying on these big dollar donations, and didn't happen. So and the thing is too, the Democratic Party is not going to learn because they don't want to learn. I think they are. I know I asked this question earlier, but I think they are fully aware of how this looks, but they don't care. As long as they have power, they meaning the current Democratic leadership, Tom Perez, Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, as long as the current leadership is in place, along with the Democratic consultants, along with the Democratic donors, they don't really care about appealing to the average worker, because even if they lose against Trump, they still control the Democratic Party. And ultimately, that's what matters to them. The big fight for them was Bernie Sanders, because as long as they fought Bernie Sanders and won, it meant that they get to retain this power over the party. Well, they won that fight. They retain this power over the party. Now, when it comes to Trump, they can still lose against Trump, and they'll still keep their power.